I love the plants in the background. Hi guys, welcome back. I've been waiting since 2 hours here to be able to film because there was people around, so I couldn't film alone. And in quiet place. I forgot my mic, so sorry guys. I'll be trying to speak as clearly as I can, and hopefully this area is quieter than the cafe that I was in before. So yeah, we're gonna talk about today history of art, about a painting by Manet, which is called in the Conservatory. So I hope I can summarize it in 10 minutes, but it is a very interesting subject for me. It is an amazing painting to talk about, and there's a lot of things to say about, so stay tuned to watch more about this video. So I'm talking next to a window, and there's a lot of people watching me film, so I'm getting a bit nervous, but I'm gonna continue. So Manet, we're gonna talk about Manet's early life. So Edouard Manet was born in a very rich family, and his father was a lawyer. He wanted him to pursue law, but Monet really wanted to do arts, and he was very passionate about arts and paintings. He tried to do Navy service, but he failed in the test twice. His mother's name was Eugène Desiré, and she was the daughter of a diplomat, and she was also the goddaughter of a very famous Swedish crown prince, descended from the Swedish monarchy, which is kind of cool. So yeah, Monet was the first to transform realism to impressionism. He was presenting a lot of controversial ideas in his paintings. A lot of his paintings really talked about controversial topics, and he's a very interesting artist and impressionist. So, what is the meaning of the painting in the Conservatory? So, in the early 19th century, when this painting was painted, there was a famous greenhouse where plants would live and survive during the harsh winter time. So, it was like a private place for the plants to grow easily in winter season. And it is called the Conservatory. So when Edouard Manet first exhibited this painting, it was considered as immoral. It's considered as scandalous and also very erotic. So people actually, when they passed by and saw the painting, they were blushing at that time. So what's the deal with this painting? Why it's considered very immoral? So ambiguity is a very interesting concept and very fascinating concept in art, especially in arts. And in relationship, it gets more complicated and more fascinating as people would, as more and more you will dive in the complexity of relationship. So, what is the nature of the couple in this painting? So you would notice in this painting here that Madame Goulmont, she is sitting there very nobly and looking really good in her dress with the hat, and she owns actually a fashion shop, a fashion boutique. And in this boutique, it was owned by her and her husband, who's called Julius. Guillemont. Fashion in Paris was a famous thing, very popular thing. So basically Paris was the show place for all the bourgeoisie families, where they can show their richness and show their popularity in the society. So being observed and observing was a very important activity at that time, especially for an artist like Manet. He was observing modern life and how people interact with each other, and it was very important for him to paint certain moments in modern life at that time, so in the 19th century. So this painting was painted in 1879. He painted it for a duration of 1 year, and the conservatory was owned by his dear friend Johann Rosen. You will notice that her husband is looking at her, and she is looking far left to somewhere that we cannot see. We don't know what she is looking at, and her husband's his main focus and attention is on her, but surprisingly cannot really notice his eyes very clearly. So the artist did this on purpose. He showed us a scene that we don't really quite understand fully. She is his main interest and main focus of intimacy, his object of intimacy, and you can see that they are a married couple because they're wearing the rings in one hand, which is on the top of the bench, resting on the bench. And I love the detail of the man who is holding a cigar. I felt that this detail was very brilliant from the artist. And yeah, they are inside this area of conservatory with plants and green surface behind them. You can understand that the painting is two-dimensional. You see it's flattening, and the artist wanted to show two-dimension interesting concept. You will understand also that he used two figures who are in a composition figure instead of portrait-like, because he felt that there is a more dynamic and more dialogue in the situation than just two portraits figures. Two important concepts in this painting. First is how flattening the painting is, with the couple are in the foreground, and the second thing is the lack of narrative in the painting. So usually academic painting at that time had a very clear narrative, what's going on in the painting, who are the people, what's going behind the context and everything. But what Manet did so in such a genius way is that he left the narrative open for interpretations, and he kept it ambiguous as possible. We don't know these couples, we don't know a lot about their relationship, we don't know why they're sitting there, what kind of conversation they're having, and why the woman is looking far left. She seems more detached, she seems to be somewhere else, maybe bored for her husband. So all these question marks are so beautiful, and it is the definition of Impressionism, because Impressionism really relied on depicting life as modernity. So conservatories were seen as the new exotic thing. Couples were going there very often, and you will see people hanging around there more often than usual. And the conclusion is that this painting shows us the art of ambiguity, how we cannot really understand what's going on between couples, and only them could interpret the relationship in a certain way. And the painting is considered a constant form of visual phenomena. There is a lot of subtle meanings, and there's a lot of silence and emotion that is only captured by the eyes of the viewer. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe, and hopefully I come with better videos.